All right, let's talk about something really fascinating: the story of English in South Asia. We're going to look at how it got there, how it completely transformed, and the incredible role it plays today.
So, where do we even begin? Well, to really get a handle on the English you hear in South Asia today, you absolutely have to go back to the very beginning, its colonial origins. You can see the whole story unfold right here. It all started with trade in the early 1600s with the British East India Company. But by 1765, that shifted into actual rule, the Raj. Now, the real game changer for the language was in 1835. This thing called the Macaulay Minute basically laid out a plan to create an English-speaking class of locals. So, by the time the colonial period ended in 1947, English was already deeply rooted. So the main thing to remember here is that English wasn't just picked up casually. It was strategically put in place by the ruling power. It became the language of the government, the courts, and the best schools, cementing its high status for generations. But here's where it gets really interesting. English didn't just stay this foreign, imposed language. Not at all. It started to change, to adapt, becoming what we now call a nativized English. It literally absorbed the flavor of its new home. One of the clearest changes is in the sound of the language. South Asian English has these things called retroflex consonants. So what does that even mean? It's when you curl the tip of your tongue back to touch the roof of your mouth to make a sound. This gives sounds like t and duh that really distinct quality you hear, and it comes directly from local South Asian languages. And this isn't just some minor detail. This sound is one of the biggest phonetic markers out there. It's what immediately tells you you're hearing South Asian English and not, say, British or American English. The language was literally reshaped by the people who spoke it. And the changes didn't stop with pronunciation. The grammar started to adapt too. For example, that S at the end of verbs in the third person often gets dropped, so you'll hear she drink milk. You'll also hear the ing form used in ways you wouldn't in other varieties, like Mohan is having two houses. And it's so important to get this. These aren't mistakes. They are consistent, logical features of this variety of English. And, of course, the vocabulary just exploded. Thousands of words from local languages were pulled in to describe things that are unique to the culture. Think about words like bond for a strike or crore for 10 million. This borrowing makes the language a perfect fit for its environment. So, beyond all these cool linguistic quirks, English took on this new, incredibly powerful social role. It became the area's lingua franca, basically a common language everyone could use. Which brings up a really important question. In a place with hundreds of local languages, how did English end up being seen as the neutral one? Well, the answer is all about its unique position. See, because English isn't the native language of any of the major local ethnic groups, it doesn't carry the same political baggage. It can act as a kind of common ground. And that's its superpower, really. It acts as a bridge. In business, in universities, in government, English is what connects people who speak hundreds of different languages, allowing this incredibly diverse region to talk to itself. Okay, so let's fast forward to today, because the sheer scale and diversity of English in South Asia right now is just staggering. To really put this in perspective, just look at this number: 400 million. That's the estimated number of people who speak English as a second language in India alone. That is more than the entire population of the United States. Just think about that for a second. And hey, this isn't just about India. As you can see from this list, we're talking about the whole region. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal. All of these countries have their own unique, distinct varieties of English, each with its own vocabulary and flavor. So after all that, we're left with a final, really big question. When you have a version of English with its own unique sounds, its own grammar rules, its own vocabulary, and hundreds of millions of speakers, is it still just a variety of English? Or has it become a new language in its own right? It's a fascinating debate that makes you rethink what a language even is. We hope you enjoyed this explainer. It was brought to you by the IELTS Focus 084-770-5973, which is an English center that specializes in IELTS preparation. Thanks for tuning in.